I didn't have a chance to stake down all of the trellis, and the wind took this front one and flipped it over. So as you can see, it is looking pretty shabby. I was able to get it staked back in, got some pots holding it in, my hanging baskets, one of them was thrown over there. So those flower seeds are probably going to germinate if they do over there. And so I am just trying to prepare the garden some more for the spring. My peppers can get pretty tall when they do grow. I have 3 pots over here prepared and ready for peppers to be seeded or sown. And so I'm just putting in my tomato cages so that I can have some supports. They already have piping inside of them for drip irrigation, and they've already been labeled, as you can see. In the back, I have been preparing my containers with fertilizer. They are not full of soil. I have a video of how I prepare my containers. I will put a video up so that you all can see how I do that. But I am preparing my containers and I have more to go. All of these are ready to be sown. So now all I'm going to do with some of them is put some tomato cages, because the plants that are going to go in here are going to be pretty large, like that zucchini. Ethiopian kale gets pretty large. Let's see. The scalloped bush squash gets pretty large. And that one is the, what's that? The Peter Pan squash also gets pretty large. So I'm going to be putting some tomato cages back here in preparation for these seeds that are going to be sown. It's taken me a few days to prep these containers, but all of them I'm going to be sewing up with food. This is the new herb area. These buckets will move to the back fence. I've been looking for my soldering tool for weeks now. Now that I wasn't looking for it, guess what I found? My soldering tool. The reason why I need my soldering tool is in this garbage bag and in that box. I have, let me show you. Let me get over here. I have water bottles, and I'm going to be placing water bottles in the bottom of my buckets so that I can prepare them for growing more food. Now, I've had all these buckets for quite a while. They were in the shed in North Texas, so now it's time to get them prepared and out in the garden. Normally I use my drill and a drill bit to drill holes in my buckets, so I'm going to go inside, get my drill, and prepare all of these buckets with holes so that they have drainage. The water bottles are going to go inside of the buckets, and then I will fill them with refreshed, refertilized soil. So let's get started. Drilling holes in my buckets are relatively simple. Before anyone asks, I use a 1/2 inch paddle bit, and I drill a hole relatively an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches up from the base, because I want to make sure I have a reservoir, that there's water sitting at the bottom, and during the hottest times of the season there's a little bit of water down there and it doesn't go completely blown dry. So I'm going to start drilling and I'll be right back. So let me speed this up. My buckets have been outside. I took them out of the garage and it has rained 2 or 3 times, and so they got pretty dirty, but that's okay. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about being able to get them out of each other because they've been sitting. So let me unstack these. Now all I do is just drill going backwards so that it doesn't split the plastic and leave it all messy. It comes out in one solid little piece. So I usually just drill it in backwards. So let me see. That looks, I'm just eyeballing. It's not, for me, it's not rocket science. And there you are, a clean hole. That's bucket one. I've got a lot more buckets to go, so let's speed this up. What I mean by it coming out clean is you have a little piece like that and you can just toss that in the garbage and it's not jagged. This is what I mean by putting water bottles in your containers. Let me put this down and I'll show you all and move my drill. Okay, I had just a top in here. What I do is I put holes in the water bottles and then I fill the bottom up like so. Let me grab one more because this will take one more. Let me grab that. And this takes 9. The square ones take 9 bottles. So I'm going to show you what I do with the bottle. So let me get my soldering iron. With the soldering iron, you need to be in a well-ventilated area, either outside or have a fan. It's hot, so be careful. Don't touch the tip or anywhere where there's metal. Keep your hands firmly away from any of that because you will burn yourself severely. So I take the bottle and I pierce it. I put a hole in the top and the bottom and I put it back in the bucket. Now I do that because it's going to give your plants some aeration. These are not going to collapse. Your roots are going to go down. There's down and around the water bottles. I hope you all can see what I'm doing. I might be going too fast. The roots are going to grow down and around the bottles. They may grow inside the bottle. The bottle may retain water. If there's water already in the bottle, a little bit, like there's a little bit in here, don't worry about it. The roots will seek out water. And this is going to allow you to use your recycled bottles and less soil. So you have literally like half the amount of soil you would otherwise have if you were just filling this all the way up with soil. And that's how I prepare my buckets. So now I need to finish putting holes in here, getting the rest of these water bottles in here, put holes in them, and get them ready for planting. I have 3 buckets that I need to complete. 2 I could not get apart, so I need another helping hand for that. And 1 bucket I need 1 more bottled water. So I'm going to need to get those taken care of tomorrow because I'm losing light. But let me show you what I'm going to do with these. This has been my makeshift workstation for the better part of 2 weeks. It looks a hot mess, but it looks that way before things begin to look so much better. I, of course, got this huge pot in my cart for free, and inside that cart is refreshed soil. I have 3 pots here on the ground. 1 has compost that I pulled off the top of my pots, and 2, this one and that one over there, has soil in it that needs to be refreshed. So what I'm going to do, and I forgot about that one right there, that also has wood chip that I pulled off the top of my pot. So that has wood chip, and that right there has wood chip, and those 2 over there have soil that I need to refresh, and that's soil that's already been refreshed. So let me go and show you what I'm going to do. I have 9 buckets on the ground that have holes drilled in them and water bottles in them, and now it's time to fill them. It's raining and I'm working in between the downpour. This is my soil. It does have some water in it, so it's partially moistened. I do have some composting worms in there, and that's fine. So I'm going to be placing the rest or the remaining of that soil, and there's a pretty significant amount in there. If you can see, this right here is the halfway point, And if you look at the pot, let me move my feet all the way down there. This is the halfway point. So literally all that is soil. So I'm going to get this in there. I hope you all can see. Sometimes it takes a bit of doing to make these videos. So I have my tripod popped up. I hope it doesn't fall, and I hope you all can hear me because I don't have my microphone on. I'm doing this after work, and I only have just a little while longer before the sky opens up again, because the sky is really dark and it's getting dark outside. So let me start shoveling some of this soil. What I'm doing here is just putting a little bit of soil around the bottles. It's not going to fill the entire bucket, and that's what I want. I don't want to fill my entire buckets because they get heavy and they're hard for me to move around. So I'm just shoveling in as much soil as I can to get it around the bottles. And then once they're around the bottles just enough, and you'll see them, the soil will come up to the top of the bottle. Then I begin to add the soil after I give it a good shake, and I add more soil until I'm about 2 inches away from the top of the bucket, the lip of the bucket. And that's all the soil I'm going to use. Forgive all the wind noise. I give you guys the real for real on my video. The weather has been pretty poor today. It's been cold. It's been raining. As you can see, I have on a sweater. I'm doing the best I can before I lose light. So this is what the video is today, y'all. I hope you appreciate it. One down, 8 to go. I dumped out that pot and that green one over there into here. I've also put some cow manure and compost in there and some coffee grounds. I need to put some more additives, some more fertilizer, which I will do tomorrow because I don't know if you can tell, but I am losing light, and I have 5 buckets left to go. I don't know if you can see. My exterior lights have come on. The wind has blown that one completely around, so I need to go over there and fix that. Bucket area is going to be along the back. Sorry if I'm wobbling. I'm walking, trying not to fall on these wood chips. I've already taken a spill once. I don't want to do it again. But my bucket area is coming together. I am going to show you a clip after this one of what it looked like before I began to put the buckets that I've been working on where it stopped, if that makes sense. And so I almost forgot, as I look, I have perlite in these buckets, and I've got perlite coming in the mail, if not tomorrow or Friday. So what I'm going to do is the buckets that I've just put in the garden, you can see the difference. There is very little to no perlite in those 2 buckets there. So I'm going to be putting some perlite in there as soon as it comes in. And I've got these buckets over here. Excuse my neighbor's dog, but this is all I'm doing tonight. I'm going to call it an evening, and tomorrow after work I will start up again. So until then, I'm going to put in the clip of what I've done so far. I have been diligently working almost every night. It's been raining, as you all saw, and so I'm working in between the rain and all the yucky weather, but that's okay. We need the rain. Let me show you what the sky looks like. You can see all that darkness. It is really dark to me, but I think the camera is brightening it up, but it is pretty ominous looking. So I'm going in the house. So until then, I hope to see you either in the kitchen or the garden real soon. Bye for now.